Well, hello everyone, and a big welcome to our super success group call. This is what I would say, and big welcome to our members, affiliates, and also new attendees here for the first time because we made this an open invitation to anyone who wants to learn more about themselves and who wants to learn more about themselves being successful because this is what we're about here at Swiss Gold Global and the real wealth revolution. And you're going to be learning from Sandy Gallagher today. She's the co-founder and CEO of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Now, Bob and Sandy, they do a great job in teaching people how to draw the very best out of themselves. And we're going to learn about goals today. Now, goals, you can learn about goals pretty much everywhere, but what I love about learning about goals from the Proctor Gallagher Institute, from Sandy and from Bob, is that you don't only learn how to set goals, you learn how to believe in yourself and in your ability to achieve everything you want. So this is what you're going to learn today. And I still see we have people signing up. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to pass the call over to the CEO and founder of Swiss Gold Global, Bill Rowell, so he can say a few words before we pass the call over to Sandy. And I can see both Bill and Sandy here. They're looking great. Bill, can you hear me?
I can, TV. It's great to
Welcome.
be here. Thank you for hosting today's call.
Thank
This is a
you.
very exciting call, what we're having on the subject of goals. And it's going to be a great pleasure for me shortly to introduce Sandy Gallagher, a good friend, a great mentor of mine, a person that's influenced my life. And before I do so, of course, I'd like to welcome everyone from Swiss Gold Global from around the world. It's great to have you on board. These calls are so important. These calls can change your life. And it was just interesting, TV, and of course everyone on this call. I was speaking to someone yesterday in France, and they were saying they did a call with someone. The lady was 67 years of age, young. She'd never set a goal in her life, never written a goal down. And of course, there's an old saying, a life without goals is like a ship without a rudder. You're just living life to the elements. The elements will direct which way you're going to actually, of course, the quality of your life that you will achieve. So personally, from my own experience, a person that was, raised or born in Melbourne, Australia, I'm here in Zurich now in Switzerland, living here, living on a dairy farm, going on to owning 4 hotels and founding a Swiss company since 2008, and of course, Swiss Gold Global. How did that happen? It wasn't by accident. And I must say, it's these programs from the Proctor Gallagher Institute. It's my involvement with these programs, my constant involvement with these programs, that is constantly improving my quality of life. So again, I want to congratulate each and every one of you for taking your time out to be on these calls. And of course, it's a great pleasure for me now to introduce Sandy Gallagher, the co-founder and president of Proctor Gallagher Institute. Just to give you a little bit of brief history of Sandy, here's a lady that was an esteemed banking lawyer in her own practice for over 20 years, did hundreds of billions, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars in deals, in banking deals. And one day, she was awakened to her inner soul in one sense, on purpose, when she attended a Bob Proctor program. She started asking questions, deep questions, which maybe she hadn't really asked herself before. And of course, I'm sure Sandy's going to maybe touch on that particular story, but it's completely changed her life. After 22 to 25 years of banking, her own private attorney, lawyer practice, she left that, and of course now she's a half owner, partners with, of course, the great maestro of mind science and personal development, Bob Proctor. So with that, I want to welcome Sandy to the call. It's wonderful to have you here, Sandy. We really appreciate you taking your time out, because I know right now you're at a Matrix event as we speak.
I am. Hello, Bill. Thank you for having me and for having me back. I always enjoy doing this with you.
We love to have you here, Sandy.
Well, I've got a great lesson for us today. I'm sitting here in Bob Proctor's new studio here at his house. We built a state-of-the-art studio here, and it's huge and it's high-tech, and it is going to allow us to just produce so much more wonderful content and really reach the world in an even bigger way. And you know, this goals lesson has had such an impact. I know it has on you, Bill. I know it has on Tibby. It's had a huge impact on my life and on Bob's life. And Tibby touched on this. We talk about goals in a very different way than you hear probably anywhere else except Swiss Goal Global. So listen in and really get your mind thinking and your imagination in high gear of what's possible for you. So Bill, I'm just going to jump on in.
Go for it. We're looking forward to it, Sandy. This great lesson.
All righty. So, you know, everyone wants freedom. And when we think about the idea, what does it mean to have freedom? We're really talking about time and money freedom, where we can do what we want to do when we want to do, and we never have to worry if we have enough money. Look at what it says here. You will be amazed at how much free time you have when you never have to think about money. I want you to think about that. You can do anything you want. You never have to think about how am I going to get the money or do I have enough money. Just think of all the time that frees up. And you know, it took me a while to learn this. I grew up in money. I grew up with a family of bankers. I did bank mergers and acquisitions and securities law and IPOs and you name it. And when I first heard Bob say this, earning a lot of money has very little to do with money. I thought, what the heck does he mean? But you know, it's true. But you do have to do something. And this is really critical, and that is you have to learn about the mind, and in fact, your marvelous mind. And this is what Swiss Goal Global really focuses on, teaching you about the mind. This is the real key. You can learn all kinds of things, but if you don't know how your mind functions and how the universal mind functions, you're never really going to live the life you want to live, at least not as a what Bob Proctor calls a conscious competent, where you can actually teach it to other people. Of course, you're in the business where you want to build leaders, you want to build a business, and so when you can learn this for yourself and you can teach it to others, then you're really on your way. So I want you to think about paradigms, and I want to look at the mind. Now, for some of you, you may have seen this. For others, this could be the first time that you have ever really talked about paradigm. See, we're going to talk about your paradigm. Not talking about mine, we're talking about your paradigm. And we're talking about it in a way that I learned for the first time in August of 2006, my very first Bob Proctor seminar. And he was talking about how, you know, we tend to focus on our results, and we think I've got to focus on my results and change my results if I want results to change. And that seems like an obvious thing, but it is so wrong. What we have to do is focus on the cause of the results, which is the thinking, and therefore it goes back to the mind. And in 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet, he was involved in holistic healthcare and the healing arts. And he stated something that had never been stated before. He said the mind is an activity, not a thing. Most of us tend to think of the brain as the mind, but the brain's no more the mind than your fingernail is. The mind is movement. It's in every cell of your being. And Dr. Thurman Fleet said, no one has ever seen the mind, and so in order to gain clarity and eliminate confusion, he created an image of the mind. Now this is what the image looks like. When I first saw this, I thought that looks pretty rudimentary. How is that going to really help me get the results I want in my life? But now I think of it as a magical graphic. And of course, the big circle is the mind, because that's the most powerful part of your being. You're a spiritual being. You're living on 3 planes here. You're a spiritual being, you're having a physical experience, and you're gifted with an intellect. And the intellect resides in the mind. So the mind is divided into 2 parts. And you really want to lock this into your thinking. You got the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body. And Bob Proctor has said this is the most valuable idea that he has ever learned, and I would have to agree. He says he has executives, Fortune 50 executives around the world, that said when they learned this, that's when their results really took a quantum leap. So let's look at this a little bit deeper, and then we're going to take what we're learning here and we're going to relay it to goals and to the results that we've got in our life. So we've got this stick person diagram, and if you have a pad of paper and pen, I would encourage you to write this out. Draw the stick person diagram and the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body, and understand that the conscious mind is your thinking mind. That's where We put all that book knowledge that we get in school, our educated mind, and that's where our intellect is. Now we've got intellectual faculties. We're not going to have time to go into that today. Maybe we'll do another call on it. But it's our intellectual faculties that are it's like a toolkit that we have that connects ourselves to the higher side of our personality. And this is where goals are so fascinating, because we use our intellectual faculties when we're setting goals and when we're achieving goals. And it really introduces us to a part of ourselves we didn't even know was there. So here's what I want you to get on this slide here, is that you've got the conscious part of your mind, and then you've got the subconscious part. And the subconscious part of your mind is the emotional part of your personality. This is the part we do not learn anything about in school. And so you find people that are brilliant that aren't getting the results they want, and they just don't know why. The emotional part of our mind is very different from the thinking part of our mind. With the thinking part of our mind, we can choose whatever we want. We're going to see here in a minute why we don't tend to choose. We tend to just take what's going on around us. But we can choose, and the conscious part of our mind, we can accept or reject an idea. If someone's telling us that this new business opportunity doesn't make any sense, and it's not a model that works, and who do you think you are anyway, you don't have enough education to do this, and so on, we can choose to reject those ideas. But we tend to accept what we should reject and reject what we should accept. And we're going to see why in a minute. And we can also originate brand new ideas. Spirit's flowing to and through us all the time. It's a formless substance. There's no form to it, and it's our thinking that shapes it. And we can put it in any shape we want. And here's the real secret here. When we look at the subconscious part of our mind, it has to accept whatever we give it. So what are you saying in your mind about yourself? What are you saying about what's possible for you? Whatever you are saying inside and in conversations with others, that is what your subconscious mind is taking. And it's adding that to the paradigm that's already lodged in there without any involvement on your part to a large degree. And it's saying this is who you are. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be anything you want. Subconscious part of your personality has to accept whatever you give it. It literally can't reject it. And here is the real key. It can't tell the difference between what is real or imagined. So you could get on the scale, and let's say you decide that you've got 60 pounds that you want to release. And you could say to yourself over and over, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am at my perfect weight, healthy and feeling vibrant and so full of energy. And if you say that over and over, even if the scale is 60 pounds over, and you're feeling sluggish in your conditions and circumstances in your current life, if you say that over and over and over, your subconscious mind has to accept that, and it will push the limiting thought away, thought that you're overweight, that you don't look good, that you don't have energy. It'll push it away if you do the work to reprogram it, to give it this new idea. It cannot tell the difference between what is real or imagined. You can put anything in there. This is such a huge truth. And you do this through your imagination and through repetition and through shutting down your sensory factors, pushing the conditions and circumstances aside and choosing the ones that you want that are going to serve you, that are going to allow you to live the life you want. So really focus on this picture. We're going to go to the next screen here. And we're going to see why we tend to reject the ideas that we should accept and accept the ideas that we should reject. Here's you today, and you got your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and body, and you've got all kinds of things coming in at you all the time. Could be on the radio, could be, you're on the internet, you're talking to your neighbors, you're talking to your family, colleagues, and you're going to hear all kinds of things about the bad economy, or how you're not very bright, or you failed a million times in business is what makes you think you're going to succeed now. And you can use your conscious mind. Remember I talked about the intellectual faculties? Well, your reasoning ability is one of your intellectual faculties. That's what enables you to think. And you could say, you know what? I don't have to believe that. I can reject that idea because I really understand that I'm a spiritual being and my spiritual DNA is perfect and anything is possible for me. And if you really study this, you have to believe that. And so you could say, I'm not going to accept those ideas, and you reject them. But what do we tend to do? We tend to turn our reasoning faculty off. We don't think. We literally don't think. Now, there may be a lot of ideas chattering around in your brain, but that is not thought. That's not reasoning. And so we open ourselves up. Remember the subconscious mind? It can't tell the difference between what's real or imagined. It cannot reject. So all that garbage goes in, and it's in your subconscious mind, and it shapes your paradigm. What's a paradigm? Your paradigm is just a multitude of habits, and they're other people's habits. They're things that you got when you were just a little kid, things that you've gotten throughout your life that you didn't really give any conscious consideration to. And so you've got this paradigm, and it's controlling. For most people, it is just controlling their life, and people are getting more and more of the same results. How did this happen? Well, let's shut the curtain there and look at you as an infant. We've got you there as an infant, and your subconscious mind is wide open. And so here's where it all started. You're just a little tyke, and your subconscious mind's wide open. Your intellectual faculties aren't even formed till you're several years old. And so all this stuff's going on around you. What was going on around you when you were just a baby? What kind of ideas were being talked about? What was on the news? What were people saying? People close to you, people that loved you. They were doing the best that they could do, and so they were just pouring these ideas into you. You had no ability to reject anything, and so it's all going into your subconscious mind. And you know what? It shapes the image of who you are. It's your self-image that's being formed there. You can never outperform your self-image. Whatever you think you are, that is who you are. But you can change who you think you are. So whatever the self-image was that you inherited, that you got through your environment as a child and as you grew up, you can change that. And you want to change that. You want that to be as big as possible, to live the fullest life that you really want. You see, your self-image is part of the paradigm. There's the bigger paradigm. It's a multitude of habits. It determines everything about you. The language you speak, the food you eat, your belief in how smart you are, your belief in how capable you are, how efficient you are, how effective you are, everything. And so as a child here, subconscious mind's open, you can't do anything but take it in. And so what happens? Come back to you today, 10 years later, 20 years later, 50 years later, 60 years later, however old you are, and you see people all over the place, and they're not much different than when they were just a little baby. And that's a shame, because we could be different, and we can be different, but it's never too late to change. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we want to look at the opposite side of the equation. It's not what have I done before. It's not this form that we've given ourselves, this pattern that we've told ourselves before that we have to follow. It's not what the people around us are telling us possible for us. It's what is your heart's desire? What do you really want? And then you set about to change the self-image and the paradigm to match what you want. So you're living the life you want. All right? Keep that in your mind. And now I'm going to show it to you in a different way. And I want you to really think about this. Because, we think if someone goes to school, they get a lot of education, they got a lot of degrees, they must know what they're talking about. We better listen to them, tell us what we can do for ourselves. Well, look at this. School gave us valuable knowledge. However, school never taught us how to alter our paradigms. In fact, I went through all kinds of school, got all kinds of advanced degrees, a Juris Doctorate in law, and I had heard the word paradigm, but I couldn't really tell you what it was. And so school doesn't tell us how to alter the paradigm. And so we've got all this knowledge. We don't know what a paradigm is. Therefore, frequently, we don't do what we already know how to do. And so we've got all this great knowledge, but inferior results. We're not getting the results we want in our life. So look at it graphically. We've got confusion and frustration because we've got a person with all this book knowledge. And then they're getting results they're not so happy with. I'll never forget when I worked on Wall Street, and I can see us standing in the hallway with a bunch of my colleagues. These were brilliant lawyers, Harvard, Stanford, Yale, the Ivy League law schools, top of their class, and a number of them weren't happy with certain results in their life. And I could hear them say, but we don't have any choice. What a silly idea. They had every choice they could imagine. But that was the paradigm. That was the paradigm speaking, and they didn't even know what it was. So look here. You've got someone with all this knowledge. They've got results they don't like, and it's because of the paradigm. So what we want to understand is if we want different results for ourselves, we have to change the paradigm. It's essential. So when we go from paradigms to goals and we ask how do we set goals, we want to really understand the role of the paradigm in this and how it can stop us. Because most of us set goals wrong, completely wrong. We call it the ABCs of goals. Most of us are stuck right here down at the bottom at the A goal. Now, you've probably found yourself doing this at some point. The A goal, that's your present results. That's setting a goal. Let's say you make $100,000 a year. You set a goal for this coming year to make $100,000 a year. It's the same thing. Yet if I were to ask you, do you want more for your life? Do you want better for your life? If we were to go take a poll of people walking down the street, do you want something bigger for your life? And almost everybody would say, yes, I do. But they would set the same goal, present results. That's where most people are stuck. Why? Because of the paradigm. So then you've got the B-type goal, and that's where you say, okay, I'm going to stretch a little. I'm going to go for something different. And so you do what you think you can do. You know, that's where, okay, I made $100,000 last year, I'm going to make $110,000 this year. And if this happens, and then that makes that happen, and then this person gives me the money that they owed me from last year, and then we play that game where we sort of try to, intellectual process of trying to make it work and figure out the how and fit it into a nice little box. That's the B goal. That's a dangerous goal. The B goal is a dangerous goal because there's no inspiration in it. This isn't what you want for your life. This is what you think you can do. This is you saying, I'm going to stretch a little bit, but not really believing that there's so much more available for you in this life. And so it's a dangerous goal. Why else is it dangerous? Well, because all those people that you were hanging around with your A-type goal and your A-type results, they're not going to want you to go after this B-type goal. It's not that they don't want you to win. If you were to ask them and give them a lie detector test, they'd say, yeah, I want you to win, but they don't want to change. And if you change, that's going to force change on them. And people don't want to be changed by something outside of themselves. So you're not going to have any support, and you're not going to have any inspiration. So how long are you going to be at that B goal? Not very long. Now, what's the C goal? The C goal, that's what you really, really want. That's what you're saying, I want $100,000 a month. I want to help people, thousands of people all over the world. You know, I want to quit this job and I want to sell the house and I want to take every dollar I can and I want to put it into this new business and I want to build something big and something beautiful. That's the fantasy. That's the C goal. And what do? Almost everybody just rejects that before you even give it real consideration. And we go back to the A-type goal, possibly the B-type goal. And so we say, okay, I'm going for what I know. It's safe. It's comfortable. And then we maybe go to a seminar, listen to a webinar like this, or we read a good book and we say, okay, wait a minute, I'm going to stretch a little. I'm going to go for something. I really think I can do this. And then, you know, we hit an obstacle. You hit an obstacle when you're trying to go beyond where you are. It's absolutely inevitable. And the bigger goal you go for, the bigger the obstacles. So that's why you've got to change your thinking and not let the paradigm get in the way. But we hit a bump, not really that much inspiration, and no one's supporting us. So what do? We go back to the A-type goal. And then we read another good book and we say, I'm going to stretch. I know many people, I've seen this in my life when I look back. It's like, what the heck, no real inspiration, go back to what you know. And that's not what we want to do. That's where most people are stuck. Here's what you want to get. Look at this. Fantasy, theory, fact. What is that? That is the creative process. That is, when you understand that, that's how you learn to really get what you want in your life. That's what the creative process is all about. And it starts with fantasy. That's where you take your imagination, which is one of your intellectual faculties, and you kick it into high gear and you just dream. I want you to just do this for a minute. I want you to just put your pen or pencil down if you're taking notes. And just take a deep breath, and I want you to just imagine that there were no limitations. You had unlimited resources. You had all the talent and ability you needed. You had all the money you needed. You had all the support that you needed to live however you wanted to live. And you're just laying there in bed, you had a good night's sleep, maybe stretch a little, and you're like, what am I going to do today? And I want you to just think, what does that day in your life look like? This is your dream life, whatever you want it to be. And really get into that fantasy and set the goal. What do you want to do with the Swiss Gold Global opportunity? What kind of people do you want to work with? How much money do you want to earn? How many people do you want to impact? Do you want to get out there and be a teacher of this, a speaker? Do you want to be a really strong leader that's helping people grow their own business? What do you want? What do you really want? You know, when I first saw Bob Proctor in seminar, and he kept asking that question, what do you want? What do you really want? And at first I thought, well, I already have it. I mean, I have a great law practice and, you know, a nice home and just wonderful family, and what more could I want? And then he kept saying that most people are extras in their own movie. Are you an extra in your own movie? You know, he said for most people, when their heart stops beating, it'll be a mere formality. Are you really living the life you want? Because there's no sense in living the life that you think someone else wants you to live. I mean, most people aren't even thinking about you anyway, and we're so worried about what someone's going to think. What are they going to think if I do this? Who are they going to think I am? They're not even thinking about you. It's what do you want for your life? You got to really get that. Bob quotes Bill Gove a lot. Bill Gove was like the Frank Sinatra of public speaking, and Bob heard him speaking, and Bill Gove, he said, if I want to be free, I got to be me. Not the me I think you think I should be, not the me I think my wife thinks I should be, not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I got to be me, and I better know who me is. So who are you, and what do you want for your life? Now you decide that. It's all up to you. And then in the creative process, once you determine what that is, then you want to turn it into a theory, and then you want to take that theory and turn it into a goal. How do you turn it into a theory? Well, let's just say that you said, okay, I'm going to sell my house, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to take that money, I'm going to build this business with Swiss Gold Global, and I want to have 20 top-notch leaders in my organization, and here's the revenue I want to earn, and here's the number of people I want to help. And you say, or you start reasoning with that. You start using your reasoning faculty, one of your intellectual faculties. So you've gone from your imagination, which is where you come up with the want. You're reasoning it. Okay, these are some possible ways I could do it. And then you want to turn that theory into a goal. Now that's where you make a decision, and you have to answer two questions. See, because here the theory is in your conscious mind. Remember the stick person diagram? This is so important. The theory is in your conscious mind, but what is in your subconscious mind? Your subconscious mind has the old programming. So this theory is not going to do anything for you until you take the next step. And so you want to ask, am I able? And am I willing? Now, am I able? If you really study about yourself, if you study who you are, if you study the creative process, and you gain an understanding of what is possible, and you believe it, then you have to say you're able. And then, am I willing? That's the tough one. That's when you got to say, I am going to do this. I've made a decision. This is the life I'm going to live, and I'm going to do what it takes, so long as it's moral, legal, and ethical. I am willing. And at that point, the goal is in your conscious mind, and you made the decision. You started impressing it on your subconscious mind. What did we say about the subconscious mind? Cannot tell the difference between that what is real or imagined. So now you're impressing this idea on your subconscious mind. Subconscious mind has to accept it. You still have the paradigm in there. The paradigm's telling you, oh, get out of here. You don't even know what you're tired of. And all these limiting thoughts are just, flooding into your mind. But you keep impressing it on your subconscious mind. You see this. You look with your imagination into the future. Your future, and then you bring it back to the present. You see your future, you living the life you want to live. You feel it, and you bring it back to the present. You do it through the creative process. So you, through repetition, you've impressed it on your subconscious mind. This is affirmations. This is visioneering. This is where you go look in the mirror and you say, I am so happy and grateful. You look yourself in the eye, right in the mirror, one eye at a time. The eye is the gateway to the soul. And you talk to yourself. You can only look at one eye at a time. Really look in there. And you look in there. And you may be looking around like, oh my gosh, they're going to think I'm a little wacko here. Who cares what they think? This is your life. And this works. And allow yourself to be a little silly. Allow yourself to do this because it works. I mean, here, I was learning this from Bob Proctor. Bob's the first to tell you, he didn't even get through high school. He went through just a few months of high school. And I have this Juris Doctorate, and my parents have Juris Doctorates, and all these degrees. And Bob's telling me, now, I want you to say affirmations. I want you to do visionary, and I want you to look in the mirror. You know, and I'm thinking, really? This is what I'm going to do? And it seems so silly, and I could just hear, you know, my dad. I love my dad. I respect him tremendously, and I could hear him saying, what? But you know what? You got to put that aside, and you got to understand. Bob Proctor has studied this for 55 years. How do you get the results you want? He has turned people who have never really made any money, never really made a meaningful impact, meaningfully live the life that they wanted to live, and turn them into multimillionaires that are helping people around the world live the life of their dreams. This works. So you look yourself in the eye, you know, I'm so happy and grateful, and you affirm the life that you want to live, that in the present tense, it's already happened, one eye at a time. Now what you're doing is you're getting the emotional part of your personality involved. Because the emotional part of your personality is what drives you. It's what the law of attraction responds to. It's what brings back all kinds of ideas and resources and people. And if you've got limiting ideas in your subconscious mind, that's what you're bringing back more of. But if you keep impressing this big vision for your life, that's what you're going to attract back to you. And the ways and means to do that. So you've impressed it on your subconscious mind. Now look, you've got the goal, the fantasies turned into a goal, and then it becomes a fact, and it becomes a fact through the creative process. This is when you allow, this is when you let go and let God. This is when the magic starts to happen. And this becomes the reality of your life. And then what do? You go after bigger and better fantasies. That's how, like I've got this iPhone here, and you know, it's just this sleek little beautiful iPhone that I can communicate with people all over the world. I can record on this, I can do videos, I can do all kinds of things on here. But I remember the days when we had those clunky phones that looked like briefcases. Well, through the creative process, bigger and better fantasies. And it just keeps going. This is the way life evolves. It's intended to get better and better and better. And you want your life to get better and better. That's the creative process. Now look, before we said most people reject the fantasy. They reject the C goals. We want to reject those A and B goals. We want to go for once. We want to see it, we want to believe it, and we want to do it. So you see this guy here. He's on a vertical wall of ice. He's got the ice picked. He's got his gear on. How does he get to the top? Well, he's standing at the bottom, and he looks up. He's got his gear on. He's got the plan, and he takes the first step. With his arm, he's got the pick in there, he's got his first foot in there, he's off the ground, he looks up, he looks around, and he's like, okay, now what do? He adjusts to the change, and then he takes the next step. This is what you do when you're going for a big goal. You take the step in front of you, then you look around and adjust, and you take the next step, and you keep going till you get to the top. Know where you're going, and know that you will get there. When Dr. Wernher von Braun, the father of the space program, was asked by President Kennedy many, many years ago, how do we get a rocket to the moon? He didn't give him a long, detailed explanation. He said, all you need is the will to do it. This is where most people stop. They cannot wrap their head around the idea that they can go for something that is way beyond where they are, that they have no idea how to do it. I did that when I went to that first seminar with Bob Proctor. He said, what do you want? What do you really want? And after a while, I started just really coming up with this big picture for my life. and I wanted to be in the inner circle of Bob's company. I wanted to be his closest advisor and create a program with him to bring into the companies that I'd worked with for 2 decades, help them get the results that they want. Did I know how to do that? I had no clue. I was new to the personal development industry, and my goal was to make this the most transformational program of its kind in the world. Who do you think you are? I'm saying to myself. I slammed the book shut. I didn't know how to do this. But you just have to know where you're going and know that you will get there and have the will to do it. And this is where it gets exciting. When you believe in this, when you have faith in this, that's when that magic starts to happen for you. But you know, there's this thing that can stop you, and it can stop you flat. We're going to go over it now. It's called the terror barrier. So we've been on this call for a while now, and you might be thinking of some really big goals for yourself that you would love, the life that you would love to live, the traveling that you'd like to do, the people you'd like to help. And so you're coming up with this idea, but what's going on inside? Why are most people in this state that we call bondage, where they're stuck? Why are most people stuck? Well, you see the X-type conditioning in the subconscious mind. That's where your heart is. That's the universal heart, the universal mind. And so you've got this X-type conditioning. What's X-type conditioning? The X is the unknown. And so I can't tell you exactly what your conditioning is. You couldn't tell me exactly what mine is. It's the unknown. But it is the conditioning that's lodged in your subconscious mind. And you're engaging in activities that are in harmony with that conditioning without even thinking about it. And then you get X-type results. Well, what kind of ideas are you going to entertain? Really think about this. If I say to you, let's just say that you grew up with the idea that you just could never really make a lot of money. You don't have business experience, and maybe you didn't do well in school, and you think, I can't have my own business. What kind of ideas are you going to entertain? Are you going to listen to me tell you that you can turn your yearly income into your monthly income? Think about the people on your team and the business you're building. What's their X-type conditioning? Are they going to just listen to you if you just tell them, hey, here's something you can do? No way. They're going to entertain only the ideas that are in harmony with the X-type conditioning, and therefore they stay in bondage. But then you start to understand, hey, wait a minute, I can change, I know what's going on. So we start to say, I'm going to entertain a Y idea. What's a Y idea? Well, a Y idea would be your C-type goal that you just came up with. My Y idea, I'm going to close my law practice that I had for 22 years when I finally did close it. I'm going to close my law practice. But what's going on here? We're entertaining a Y idea, but it's only in the conscious mind. Remember what we said? It's only in the conscious mind. It's not impacting the emotional part of your being. And so you can reason through this. I could sit in the high-rise in downtown Seattle, Washington and say, oh, man, I'd love to work with Bob Proctor and teach this. But it's just in my conscious mind. I'm not getting emotionally involved with it. And so everything's okay, but you know what? I still get X results. I feel fine, I'm comfortable, but I'm still getting the same results. Nothing's going to happen, okay? Now, here's where growth really starts. You are going to entertain a Y idea, but you're getting emotionally involved with it. What does that mean? That means that you've made a decision. This is what I'm going to do. I have no idea how, but I'm going to do it. And you've made that decision, and you see this life, and you start to feel it, and then you find yourself in this uncomfortable feeling because the Y conditioning and the X conditioning, they don't mix. They're like oil and water. And so your paradigm's saying, get out of here, I want to stay where I am, and your Y idea is saying, come on, baby, this could be a fun life, this could be great, this could be rewarding. I'm going to look down the years, and I'm going to say, I really made a difference. But your paradigm's going to say, you can't do this. You don't know anything about this. Everybody's telling you this is a stupid idea. You know, I can't tell you how many times I heard, what about those clients you built up over all those years? What about that 401k and that profit sharing? And so you've got this really uncomfortable feeling. Here is the terror barrier. This is when you're saying, I've got to make a move. And it's all hell is breaking loose inside you. And this big wall that we call the terror barrier comes up. And worry hits your conscious mind. That has to turn into fear in a subconscious level. And when you suppress that, that turns into anxiety in your body. And you go racing back. You bounce off that wall and you go right back to the comfort zone. Thank God I'm back. Wow, that was scary. I really like it. And you start rationalizing, rationing lies to the mind. Well, this law practice isn't so bad. I think I'll just stay here. Now, we don't want to be stuck there. Most people are stuck there, and most people have no clue what's going on here. It's an invisible thing that's going on. Now you're aware of it, and you want to really get this. Joseph Campbell said, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." It's a big, dark cave. You don't know what's in there, but that's your treasure. I like to say, when you face the fear you're experiencing, you automatically experience the growth you're seeking. But you've got to go through the terror barrier. So you're here. You got this why idea. I'm going to close my law practice. I'm going to hit send. I'm going to send that letter. I'm going to close it. And I'm going to bet on myself and build this business. And you plow through the terror barrier. And does it hurt? Is it uncomfortable? You bet. You've got this Y idea, and you're trying to squeeze out that X idea, but it's not going to happen immediately. You're over on the side of freedom, but you're still uncomfortable. There's still a chance you could retreat back, but you keep impressing it, and you emotionalize this new life for yourself. You see it, and you believe it, and you're doing it, and pretty soon that Y idea has erased the X conditioning, and now the Y conditioning is your new paradigm. What do? You come up with another bigger, better goal, and you go through this whole thing again, and you get used to this, and this is what you do. And it's all based on your belief. You got to believe that this is possible for you. I don't care what's happened to you in the past. I don't care what kind of failures you've had or what kind of successes. I don't care what your family situation is, anything, how old you are. You got to believe that if you want it in your heart, if you really want it, and you got to get in touch with that feeling, you want it so bad it scares you, but it excites you at the same time. You got to believe that that is possible for you. That is a glimpse. You've glimpsed into what is possible for you. But are you going to do what it takes to actually live that? You got to have courage. You got to be tough. You got to bet on yourself. Now look at this. How do you do it? You got to have power. The most powerful paradigm shifting tool on earth, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are shifting the paradigm and turning it into what we want. You get your power from your passion, the human soul on fire. There is nothing more powerful. So you've got to go for what you want. Forget what you think you can do. No inspiration in that. Get your soul on fire. What do you want? What kind of impact do you want to make in this life? What are you here for? What is your purpose? Really fire that up. Andrew Carnegie, he gave this to Napoleon Hill. And of course, Bob has studied Napoleon Hill for 55 years in the Think and Grow Rich book and other books by Napoleon Hill. Andrew Carnegie said, any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that's either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate physical form available. Any idea, whatever you decide on. Are you going to pick some little puny idea that isn't worthy of you, or are you going to pick something that's worthy of you because you're trading your life for this? What do you deserve? You got to believe you deserve the best. So you hold it in your mind. And remember, if it's something you fear, not going to have enough money, not going to have great relationships, you hold that idea and you're attracting it. You're getting more of that. Any idea held in the mind that's emphasized, that's either feared or revered, go for the idea you revere, the life you love for yourself. It will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available. What does that mean? It means that it's going to move you into action, and it's going to attract to you the people you need, like Bill Rao, like Tibby, the opportunities, Swiss Gold Global, the learning. Like I've attracted you, you've attracted me. This whole thing that we're learning right now, this is something you're not going to find all over the place. This is the key to how to live the life you want, and you attract it through the ideas in your mind. So what are you attracting? This is the stick person diagram. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe is possible for you? What do you believe is possible for the team that you've got? You want to see them in their highest, best self. I don't care what their current results are. What do you see about them? Because everyone's spiritual DNA is perfect. They are capable of great things. And if you see that before they do, they're going to believe in your belief in them. So you believe it on a conscious level, and you impress that belief on the subconscious level, and that changes the vibration you're in. That sets up the law of vibration working in your favor. You're working in harmony with the law, getting the results you want. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it, and this union results in the activation and projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. What does that mean? That means that when you hold an idea in your conscious mind, you get emotionally involved in it, you impress it on your subconscious mind, you feel it, and you believe it in every cell of your being, then you are one with it, and it has to manifest, and the way will be shown. And it starts with your thought and the decision you make for the life you're going to live. And then this new state of conscious awareness, it becomes your home from which you view the world. You see the world this way. You no longer see the world the way you saw it an hour ago. It's different for you. And it just takes a second. That's all it takes. You just view it from a different state of conscious awareness. And that becomes your mental workshop. And if it's your workshop and if you're observant, you're going to see the outer reality that you have shaping itself upon the model of your imagination. So you want to dream bold dreams, and you want to keep moving forward, and you want to live the life that you want to live. That's what Swiss Gold Global is all about. That's what Bill Rao is all about. That's what everyone in Swiss Gold Global. It's teaching you about your mind and your paradigm and how to shape it into the self-image and the paradigm that's going to allow you to live the life that you want. And that's it, Bill.
Well, Sandy, that was an amazing presentation. I really, I can't get enough of it. I don't know how many times I've seen the stick person presentation, but it's just something that you cannot get enough of. You know, it's something that you've just constantly got to be engaged in, going through, resetting your goals, reviewing your goals, whether it's an A, B, or C. You know, our goals, our mind, in one sense, we always like to resonate to the easiest way in life. So this bring order to the process, and that was such a powerful presentation. There's so many nuggets there, but I really love the statement you made that really stood out to me. When you face your fears, you'll automatically experience the growth you are seeking. Such a powerful statement there, and of course, you know, it made me think, what do you really want, Bill? What am I here for? What do I think of myself? Can I outperform my self-image? What is my self-image? Unless you go into these programs, we're just not taught to think about these things, Sandy. So, you know, it's just so important to be engaged in these coaching programs, and that's why I've been involved with the Proctor Gallagher Institute for a very, very long time, Sandy.
Yes, you have, Bill. And you're doing a great job, and you're helping a tremendous amount of people.
Well, we want to thank you, Sandy. I know you're at the Matrix, a great event for the people who've never been to the Matrix event of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. It is a life-changing event. In fact, it's a week. In fact, you even get to go to Bob Proctor's home and into the studio where Sandy is right now. It is truly remarkable and life-changing. So please give our love and respect to Bob and the team, Sandy.
I will. We're going to have the whole group here. There's about 140 people here, Bill. And we're going to have them all here going through the studio tomorrow, looking at the big cameras dropping from the ceiling, and we're going to be recording some things and having a nice party here. So wish you were here. We miss you.
I'll be there on the next one. I was there back in May at the event, which you remember. So once again, Sandy, from our heart and our soul, we really thank you for this really, you know, life-changing presentation you've done for us. It's something that I'm going to watch again in the recording. So, Sandy, thank you. And I'm going to actually pass the call over to one of our leaders, Claudia Eifert.
Nice being here. Take care, all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Actually, I can see that you can see my stick person here. That's a reminder to constantly remind me of how my mind actually works. For the people there. Anyway, it's going to be my great pleasure now to pass the call over to Claudia Eifert, one of our great leaders. It's been associated with Swiss Gold Global now for many years. She's really, when it comes to Bob Proctor's coaching, teaching. She's really totally engaged in it, but she's also totally engaged in building wealth and sharing prosperity. She's a bit of a gold and silver queen. She's been a saver or wealth accumulator for many, many years now. So it's just going to take a minute. We're going to pass the call over to Claudia, and she's going to take you through a short presentation for the people who are joining us for the very first time. So with that, Claudia, over to you.
Hi, Bill. It's a great pleasure, of course, to be here, and it's, of course, amazing information to hear Sandy. And both you and I, we have certainly studied intensely this information for many, many, many years now. So it's certainly something which, even though you study it for so long time, you have to constantly repeat it, constantly. And it's just like, I got often this question asked, you know, Claudia, well, once you have attended the seminar, well, that's it. Well, it's not. You really have to work on it every day, every single day. It's not just something you do. You attend the seminar, you become a coach, you go out, you do seminars. No, it's something you really have to repeat. And I'm really, really grateful, of course, to be able to have gone through all those certifications and be able to share this knowledge. So it's really, really great. But let's go into, yes, as you well said, I'm a gold and silver queen. I'm actually, if you see that here, that is my very unique coin. It's actually numbered 0001, the first ever silver coin I got from the company. That means, well, I started some time ago. I really started in our pioneer time. Well, one of the reasons, of course, obviously I started with this company was because, well, you just told me, you know, Claudia, if I could show you a way how to get paid to save in gold and silver, you know, would you be interested? And I thought, well, yeah, of course I would. Because gold and silver over time always has maintained the purchasing power. But then, of course, I understood, well, this is one thing, but you really have to have the other thing, which is, of course, those multiple sources of income. And Bill, if you just could mute yourself, because we do hear some background noises, that would be great. I'm sorry to apologize to have to.
No, it's okay, Claudia. I'm just going to just quickly, because I was actually at Viamat today. You're speaking about gold and silver, so before you start, I just thought, we have someone flying in to pick up some products, and I just want to share a couple of them. This is the third. We have private collectibles among bars, so this is one of them I picked up today. It's a third of an ounce of pure gold in the story of Joseph. And then this particular person also wanted a 500 gram or half a kilogram of silver. So it's a little bit bigger than yours, Claudia, but it's still wealth accumulation. So with that, I'm going to pass the call over to you, and I'm going to mute myself, and have a great call.
Thank you, Bill, and again, it's really great pleasure to be here. Yes, and so what I was saying is, and then of course I understood, and this is really what I learned since day one, being actually taught by Bob Proctor, was to have multiple sources of income. No, I'm not anymore working for somebody quite some time, actually quite some many years now, but only because I was able to do that because I understood how to apply that law, how to put a goal in place. As it says here very well, if you can actually dream it, you can actually do it. But you have to go and start and really work on that goal of yours and then go towards it. And so I ask you today, if presented with the right opportunity, what area of your life actually would you like to improve? Would it be savings? You know, would you like to have or increase your finances, reduce them, build to retirement? Would it be cash flow? Would it be time? Would it be knowledge? I know for me it was actually the 4 of them. For some it's just 1 of them. For some it's 2 of them. And so understand, money is important and money matters. So when you achieve my age, so I'm not going to tell you how old, but you know, when you achieve sort of the half of your life, you know, you're going to think a little bit different. And so money does matter. And when you think of just in America, 26% of Americans actually have no emergency savings. 67% have less than 6 months saved to cover their expenses, and actually 45% of Americans have saved $0 for retirement. And that is pretty sad. It doesn't really look so much different in other countries. I'm right now in Germany. I'm actually living the last year in Switzerland. So everywhere I go, I see the same things happening. And so what's your game plan? Now you can do what I did, and I did it for a long time, too long time, but anyway, so we don't have to look back, we only have to look forward. And that is, you know, trade time for euros. Work more, yeah, make more money, but again, have a second job, but yeah, it's something missing. And so, you can of course do the buying a franchise. So you can buy a franchise, of course, that costs a lot of money. So that means you put things at risk. You don't know if you're going to be successful in that. So you also have to have employees, obviously, and you have all this overhead and all this headache with it. Or you can partner with a company who has already everything in place, and that's what I did. I partnered with Swiss Gold Global, and so if you are looking for a complete transformation in your financial world, if you really have been thinking, you really have been trying to put everything, all the pieces together, but it really hadn't really produced the results you were looking for. Well, we invite you, of course, to look at one of those programs which we offer you, those vehicles, as I always call it. It's a vehicle to get what you want. And this is how I did take it. And so imagine yourself being part of an international wealth community where some of the most renowned personal development leaders, they actually guide you through a systematic process, as you have seen today from Sandy, a systematic process that will empower you to achieve anything in your life. Imagine working together with like-minded people who actually share similar core values and passions and support each other to grow and reach their goals faster than ever. I can tell you, when I was first exposed to that information of personal development, I remember it very well because I was listening to Bob's voice, and I tell you that because it's so important. I was listening to Bob's voice, and I thought to myself, I don't want to hear to that guy. I don't want to listen to that guy. And it was really annoying. But it was annoying because I wasn't happy with myself. So it was annoying because he was saying the truth. I didn't want to hear the truth because to hear the truth sometimes it hurts, you know. And so you better don't hear the truth and stick to your old stuff. But this other guy on the line today, Bill, he pushed me. He pushed me and he made me listen to it over and over and over and over again. And of course, and then something changed. One day something changed, and it made click. So it's so important to have somebody beside you, and so this is what we are here with the Wealth Club, a community whose purpose is to build real, lasting wealth. Really, during any given economic cycle, and you hear it so often, well, the economy is bad, well, this is bad, well, this is bad. Well, this is never going to really change, you know, if you don't change yourself, if you don't change. So you have to change in order to have things changing for you. And so our program is based on real knowledge, real wealth, as you can see here. I love my silver coin, and real income. And with that, you get this mentorship. And so it's so important to have mentors in your life. And you get this through, of course, coachings, for weekly coachings, for monthly coachings. You can log into your back office every day and listen to a session of Bob Proctor, Sandy, Craig Reed, Nancy Feller. Swiss Gold Global partnered with some of the icons in the industry. Learn about finances, learn about gold, learn about asset diversification, everything here for actually $1.50 a day. For $1.50 a day. I mean, for me, for myself, looking back, of course, I attended all those programs. I paid a lot of money, but well, what is a lot of money? For many people, what I paid is a lot of money. But yet, in comparison, what it has done for my life, how it has changed my life, it's not. So for here with Swiss Gold Global, actually, for $1.50 a day, you have access to all that. It's really amazing. And so the second pillar, of course, it's money. Most people, they don't understand really what money is. Money is a store of value, a medium of exchange, obviously, and a unit of account. And so Robert Kiyosaki, and I'm sure many of those and you on the call today, you know about Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki, he many years ago said basically, gold and silver is God's money, cash is trash. And so cash is trash, okay, yes, but you know, you still need cash. So I don't call it cash is trash, he does. What important is for you to understand is, and Bill really goes into depth into in his webinars on Tuesday or Saturdays, if you can plug in, I don't. I just really touch on it very simple because I like simple stuff. In Roman times, you know, 2,000 years ago, you could dress completely yourself with a beautiful, good toga, a pair of sandals with 1 ounce of gold. One little piece of gold would beautifully dress yourself. 100 years ago, well, you could do the same. You could buy a fine suit, a pair of shoes, a hat, and so on for 1 ounce of gold. At the same time, 100 years ago, also, $20 would buy 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold was $20. Now, imagine your grandparents would have saved instead the gold, would have saved the paper money. I ask you, what could you today buy with $20? Could you buy a beautiful suit, a fine suit, and a pair of shoes? I guess not. Yet, if they would have saved the 1 ounce of gold, and I would go here downtown, I'm today in Wiesbaden, Germany, I would go downtown and sell this to a pawn shop, I would get probably $1,200 for that. I could go into any store, really nice store, and clothe myself for $1,200, no problem. So that just shows you gold always, and also silver, maintains the purchasing power, while paper money, of course, all the time the values diminishes. And so it's so important, and that's why all the rich people, all the wealthy people, they always have some of their money into gold and silver, always. And so I'm, since quite some years now, getting paid to save in gold and silver through Swiss Gold Global. And so you could select, how do you want to have your gold? Do you want to have it just safe in crowns? You have it stored in Switzerland. Do you want to have, coins shipped to you? Do you want to have like little ounces, like little 1 grams, 5 grams, 10 grams? You can decide, because everything, it's like an account which you get as soon as you join. You have a platform. You have access to everything. It's like just a few buttons you push, and you buy, you sell, whatever you want to do. You have very competitive prices, and it's very easy, trackable, manageable, because you actually have like your own bank account, diversified in Switzerland. You can also have it shipped to you. But I get, as I said, paid to save. Why? Because I understood the leverage. I understood this concept that earning residual income, earning money while you sleep, sharing this business, sharing this program, sharing this mentorship, sharing this mentor program with other people. And so when I share it, well, I get paid for it. Very simple. You share our product, we share your revenues. Swiss Gold Global sharing the revenues. Just like Amazon. You become an affiliate, and I mean, did you know that Amazon last year actually moved products worth $74 billion US, and 40% came by people who share the product. 40% came from affiliate. Pretty amazing. And so that's the same principle on what Swiss Gold Global works on the principle of affiliate marketing. We all know traditional marketing, when you move a product through paper ad, through television ad, through news, and so on. Well, what we do is here, the world, of course, most trusted form of marketing was word of mouth marketing. When you love something, you really like something. When, I have people in Hungary, I remember coming, and he said, Claudia, is this really, really gold? Okay, this is my silver coin. I don't have the gold coin here right now. But actually, they did bite in it, and of course, they left a little mark on it, and it's, because it's, when it's 99.9 pure, well, of course, it leaves the mark because it's very soft. And so, but actually, it's the word, it's most trusted form of advertisement, it's a word of mouth. You like something, you see something, you see a result, somebody changed, you see that person change, what happened to you? I want to have what you have. Very, very simple how to market that product. And of course, commissions are paid every time you get somebody on a savings program. You can start a savings program from as little as $25. You can start and put money aside into gold or silver. And of course, you're going to get paid. And so it's a partnership, and you never have to worry about any significant investment, research development, manufacturing. You don't have to do that stuff because Swiss Gold Global is doing that for you. They even give you the best training and support when it comes in terms of doing the business from Don and Nancy Failer, which are really the world's leading experts in affiliate marketing, network marketing. Amazing. They worked very closely together with our affiliates and teach you how to very simply do that business. In fact, when you, if you have not had access to the book, never had the book, please go to, of course, the websites www.45second.com. Download those 4 chapters. Listen to those 4 chapters, because I never forget the speech of Jordan Adler, who wrote Beach Money. He said he picked up this book a decade ago from garage sale. Garage sale couldn't have cost that much, right? And the book in the last 10 years made him more than $24 million US. More than $24 million because he picked up that book, because he applied what was in this book, and his life changed. And so you have that training and support from one of the experts, and you can do this business anywhere in the world because it's borderless. If you have a smartphone, you can do this business. If you have a computer, you can do this business. If you have an iPad, you can do this business. And so we teach you how to make money while you sleep. That's what Michael Jackson, Harry Potter, Star Wars all did. They created a product, and of course they're getting paid over and over for that product. So Swiss Gold Global actually pays you 10 different ways. I'm just going to touch you very, very quickly on it. It's just that you grasp a little bit of the idea. So you get paid, obviously, when somebody gets on a savings plan. You get paid up to 2 levels. So if you introduce Jacob, you get paid some money for introducing Jacob. And Jacob sets up his savings plan. Obviously, every month he saves, you get a portion of that paid. Every time Corina saves some money, of course, you get a portion paid off that. That's one way to make money. The other way is very simply, if you know somebody who needs to be on the mentorship program, if you know somebody who needs to get access to that, who wants to change his life, well, get him on it, and when you join this person, you're making $70 straight away. Very, very simple. Every person you get on the coaching program, you make $70. In fact, if you introduce it to 3 people, let's say in your first month, and help them also to introduce to 1 person, now you're making $455. Would $455 change your life? Well, maybe some say yes, maybe some say no. We have a lot of different countries here present, many, many countries. In America, $455, in fact $500, would have all changed the situation with this housing bubble in 2007, 2008. It didn't have to happen if they would have this other extra income. And so in your first 30 days with Swiss Gold Global, we can show you how to do that. Very simple. In fact, if you introduce 5 people to the business, you're making around $350 in a passive of $37. Okay, just 5. You introduce 5 first level. But if you help them each do the same, you're making around $1,200 in a passive income of $187. If again you work with those 5, they work with their 5. That's 25. They introduce it each to 5. You're now at 125. Well, you're making an extra of $4,000 or a passive income of $500. It means each month this $500 comes in. Whether you do something or you not do something, it comes in. Now, if you duplicate the same thing, so you introduce those 5, help those 5 to get their 5, 25, help them, they're 125. Now you're 625. You are on a passive income of almost $3,000. Of course, and then you can go as long as you want with this example, and the numbers, it's just like crazy numbers. And even though if you just do, even though just 10% would come true, if even just look at the number, look at the $13,800, if even just 10% would be true, you still would make an extra passive income of $1,300. Now, this is like in Germany, I believe the average income is something like that. So imagine you can get that passive. And if it takes you 1 year, if it takes you 2 years, if it takes you 3 years, if it takes you 5 years, does it really matter? I don't think so, because how you grow with this information you're getting is just really incredible. And so you have many other businesses, of course, attached. I just didn't want to go into that. And of course, you will be rewarded. Just as you know, if you climb the ladder, of course, of ranks, if you get more professional, if you achieve better results, obviously the company is going to reward you with many, many different things. And so you can start this business, of course, as a smart saver, and that means you get a free account. You actually just save into gold and silver, set your savings account from $25, $50, whatever you want, set it up. You don't have access to make money, you don't have access to the coaching platform, but you know, you can at least smell it a little bit. Or, of course, you become a premium member, which really is a great way to start getting into this coaching, into this mentality of having a mentor. And you have a one-time, of course, entry of $150, and then it's just $50 a month. But I say, you know what, become a premium member, become an affiliate, make money. Why not? Why in the world would somebody not make some money, some extra money? Why not? And for $50 more, one-time entry, one time, $199. Think about how often do you spend $199? How often do you spend it? You know, it's just so easy. $199 gets you access for lifetime into Swiss Gold Global Access. And then you just pay $50 a month, $50 for the coaching platform, $50 in order to get paid, $50 in order to not pay storage fee, in order to be diversified in Switzerland. That is really nothing, actually. So who do you know that wants to improve those areas in life? And that's really what Swiss Gold Global is about: real wealth, real money, time freedom, real knowledge. So your next step is, of course, choose your goal, commit to your own success, join the team, and let's go. Very simple. It's a wealth club, and together everyone achieves more. Thank you so much, and I hope I didn't make it too long for you, and I know you are going to have questions. So the questions you're going to have, or either go to the person who invited you to this presentation, or simply send a ticket to support. This is support@swissgoldglobal.com. I repeat, support@swissgoldglobal.com, and get your question answered. I know the customer service is very, very great and helpful, and so please don't hesitate. And I hope you're going to get started. I hope you made the decision I made quite some years back, because I know it can change your life. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of the day, evening. Namaste.